Morning everybody. So in this video it's all about the flooring in the camper van. I'm actually recording this in the future now, and there's 3 other videos that are in the works. So this one will come out and then there'll be quick succession. So sorry for the delay getting this one out, but there's going to be quite a few over the next few weeks. Anyway, onto the floor of the van. As with many things in the camper van, so many things interact with other things. The shower tray is something that I'm probably not going to fix in for quite a while yet, but I've got to think about the waste of the shower tray. So I want to make sure that the waste comes out in an appropriate place, because I might have to do something underneath the floor with the waste pipe. So I'm going to take this floor up because I've got to insulate underneath. I've also got to put a cable in from the battery for the DC to DC charger. So I'm going to take this up, and today what I'm going to do probably is just work out where various things go under the floor, and hopefully I'll get some insulation in all the bits under the floor and we can start to put the floor down. That's the plan. Sounds complicated, it is. Do I know what I'm doing? No. We found that this floor is stuck down here, and I'm just not 100% sure that it's worth taking it up. So let me explain. So under the floor, I was going to put some insulation, so that's one thing, and then I was also going to put the DC to DC charger wire from the battery to here, which is going to be where all the electronics are going to be, and I wanted to have a look under the floor to see what was there for the drain. But what I found is that there's the sort of channels underneath this are very, very small. So there's not a lot of room to put the insulation. I knew that, so I'm going to have to raise the floor a little bit and put battens down. If I take the floor up, which is going to be difficult because it's stuck down, and put battens down, then I can put some insulation. But the question is the insulation going to make that much difference? Because the plywood's going to insulate it, and then the stuff on top of the plywood is insulating it. It's got some foam underneath, which will create some sort of insulation, and I'm going to be putting something else on top. So there's a long way of saying I'm not sure what to do here, but what I'm going to try is see if I can get the wire down a gap in there. So I'm going to push the wire down, see if I can get it underneath without taking the floor up. If I can do that, then I might not take the floor up. Everyone in comments, criticise me. It's not going to go down this. Right, I started threading the wire, and then something in my brain thought, this isn't right. So I Googled just like heat loss from floor, just to see how much it would be. And it seems as though 40% of the heat loss comes through the floor compared to an insulated floor. So it seems dumb to insulate everything else so well and not insulate the floor. I'm just trying to cut corners, aren't I? So I just need to get this up. If I break it, I break it. So next step, cue tools and swearing. Oh my God, that's just not going anywhere, is it? Okay. It's just going to break. That's the thing. I can use force. Heat gun. That's hot. Oh, it got really hot really quickly. Whoa, that's melting it. Right, let's use a bit of hammer. I just know I'm going to break it doing this. It's sort of coming up, but Oi! We got it coming! Right, I need some blocks to put under it. Whew. I think it'll come. It's definitely sort of snapping. I think the heat gun might help, so I'm going to put a bit more heat on and then pull it again. My back's giving out. Right. Maybe I need your help a little bit because I might hurt myself. I think we're done. We just need to pull it, I think. What was that? Boom! So this is a great example of not taking the easy option. I thought it was going to be difficult, so in my head I thought, oh, I'll just leave it down. But actually it wasn't that difficult in the end to get it up. We've got to get rid of some of this sticky stuff, and now I can clean up the floor and work out exactly where I want to put things. If I put any electrics down here, I can make sure it's super safe and, you know, well secure. So good move. I had a week off to go and photograph bluebells in Dorset, so a haircut later and a change of clothes, we're back. We're getting onto the floor now. So I am going to, basically, I've cut these to the same thickness as the insulation. The reason I've already done that is because at 9 o'clock this morning, the power went off for the whole day. So no power. So I've got a power bank to power some things. And I am basically going to cut these to length. They're going to go this way down the floor. And then I've got 25mm of Kingspan insulation. I think it's really important to insulate the floor. I've looked into this in so many different ways, done different calculations, and basically I think you lose about 40% of your heat through your floor. So I really want to do this. It does lose a little bit of height, but I don't think that's going to matter too much because I've got quite a bit of height in the van. I am 6 foot, not 6'4", some people said in a video a while ago, and I've got, you know, at least sort of 3 or 4 inches to spare. So Rick just said, doesn't think anything's going to go wrong in this section, so it's not much fun. I don't want things to go wrong, Rick. If you can hear that noise over there, by the way, we've no electricity because they're chopping down the trees. Because we have a lot of power cuts here because the trees fall on the electric line. So there's lots of power people up trees. Cue B-roll of guy up the tree. Everything's complicated in a camper van. We've got this step here, and I've just got to think about the wood battens are going to go down, and I've got to think about how I'm going to just finish the wood battens here, and also just here I've got my kitchen unit coming through, and it's going to end about here with the sink here. So the battens here are going to come through all the way to the step, but then further back they're just going to stop here. So I've taken this off the plywood that was there before because it's the right thickness just to give some support on this edge. So I'm just going to use this and put this on again, I think. That's it. Other thing, exciting news, I've got some samples from a lino. So I'm thinking of using lino on top of the old flooring that I had. There's a few things with the flooring I'm going to have to sort out because there's holes in it like there, but I'll just fill those in. But I don't know what colours to do, so I'm still going to make that decision because I actually haven't thought about the interior decoration too much. Well, something must not be level because that's flush with that metal there. And that's tight, but that on here, which is level with that, there's a gap there, springy. It's just nothing is straight. Just nothing is straight. Did I measure that wrong? Or write it down wrong? Oh, I measured it to the top. I measured it. Why can't I measure things? Right, so I'll chop it a bit thinner and I'll notch that out a couple of millimeters and that should work. That's why a bandsaw is really, really useful to do cuts like that, which are actually quite, you got to do by hand, or you know, even doing that on the table saw is difficult because you end up with cuts up the wood like that. So bandsaw, super good for that. Right, so this is the reference batten that I definitely want to be in a certain position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square this up to the van and then just do 40 centimeter gaps all the way to the end, and that should all work out pretty well. So I'm just using a square now. I'm going to mark this out so I know where it is. There we go, done. In case you move it. So I think that's fine. I think that's good. Right, it's down to starting to stick, I think. I just need to glue it. Just glue it now. That'll do. I mean, on its own, it's not very secure, but it's going to be part of a whole system of things, which will be fine. I'll probably need to screw through it into it, to be honest. I'm going to put the blobs, small blobs, on the metal. Feels like I'm decorating a cake. This is just dumb. So basically, the battens go just at the end there where it goes black. It goes down a little bit, the floor, just by a few millimeters. So I was thinking the battens were a little bit bent and trying to push it down at that side, but it's not. The floor's just down. So I've just taken them all up because they need shims under that end, otherwise it's going to have a bit of flex on it, the floor, which we don't want. So today we've achieved this. So I continued to measure and remeasure, ensuring the battens were correct and glued down without any flex. I checked the gaps were correct for the Kingspan installation, threaded the wires through for the battery, and then we just need to cut the insulation. Oh God, I hate this van already. So to get the right curve on this round the wheel arches, I basically use this sort of profiling tool. You just put it against the wheel arch to get the curve, and then I'm just going to trace that onto the insulation. What can go wrong? Nothing. So before I put my floor down, I want to make sure that I've got all the insulation that I need to put down. So I'm obviously putting the Kingspan in between all these battens, but I want to put some sound deadening and insulation on these wheels here. So I've got this Dodo mat. Basically it's a dual purpose sort of insulation and sound deadening. I'm going to sort of wrap that over here, then put my floor down and then get onto the walls. Just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to put two on top of each other. This was Rick's idea, good idea. And I'm going to clamp them, and then I can cut two at once because they're all going to be the same sort of thickness. I literally can't see anything because it's reflecting so much. Right, I think I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's check it's eyeballed about right. So if I just, I need to draw a line. Just do it right, Nigel. Got to be parallel to that line. I need sunglasses. Once I cut out the insulation, it was a simple matter of laying them all down in between the battens, and then I decided that I was actually going to use a new floor so that I didn't have to fill in the holes where they were clamped down before on the old floor, and also I think it would give a better adhesion to the vinyl floor. So I am going to cover these up. I'm going to put some tape down on top of it just to get rid of all the gaps. I'm not bothered about condensation so much. I'm not going to create a full vapor barrier in here, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in a different video, but I'm not a great fan of a vapor barrier. I don't think it's a good idea, but I do think that these gaps might just have a bit of air coming up. It's worth taping them up. It's not going to do any harm. It also means that it'll just help keep these from rattling a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to tape these. Floor down now. Here goes. Whew. So I'm putting some extra little bits of insulation in the gaps here just to make sure that there's no cold spots. I think we're ready. So the insulation's down, taped, and I just need to I've got half the insulation in my throat. And basically I made out a board here, a marker that's got where the screw hole's going to go, so I make it easy to make sort of even screw holes. So I'm just going to use this, and then I'm going to screw it all down, countersink it just a little bit, so that when I put the lino over it doesn't make big divots. So it's just a question of putting the boards in, screwing it down, boom! Basically what I've got is this, with some arrows on it, which just means that I can line everything up and make sure that it's pretty good. I've sort of got one for here, and then when I go down there, I've
got one as well.
So that's it. Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. In the next video, I'm going to be insulating the rest of the van and getting onto the bit I'm dreading a little bit, and that's the electrics. If you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and until the next video, bye.